This podcast is meant to inform, entertain, and occasionally stir the pot in a good way. The opinions expressed are our own, shaped by personal experience and thoughtful research. They may not reflect everyone's views, and we may even offend you. We're just a couple of humans doing our best to advocate, educate, and elevate, one episode at a time. Yours truly, The Bark. P.S. Please don't sue us.
Hello. If you are only listening to this episode, you are missing out because we have two puppies here with us today. All right, back up a little. I'm Megan.
I'm Candy, and this is Jelly Bean.
You can't see again if you're just listening. But I swear there's a dog next to her. Yes. She's not, Candy didn't just nickname me Jelly Bean in the last week.
not talking about my snacks, you know.
But we're The Bark. This is, episode 11 maybe, I think. And if you were tuning in last week, we had our first guest, which was super exciting for us. And so now, I guess technically today, we've got 4 guests.
We have 4 guests.
I don't think we're going to discriminate canine versus human. Yeah. So we've got 4 guests today. But if this is your first time tuning into The Bark, thank you so much. We are a part of Lost Saving Paws, the 501c3 out of Columbia, Tennessee, working on confronting the animal crisis rather than responding to symptoms of it. And so this podcast, I think, has just been a really awesome initiative for us to educate folks and just kind of learn how they can be more involved in getting their hands in on fixing the root of the problems that we're experiencing in our state. So we are listener funded, and I try really hard not to sound desperate when I say this, but I mean, what are you gonna do? We are listener supported, and our money tree. If you're living in Tennessee, I mean there's no rain here. My money tree is dead.
Dry.
It's dry. It was dry before the drought, folks. So we're listener supported. If you're a business or even just an individual donor and you like what you've heard or you're interested in making an impact on like a grassroots level, then please visit lostsavingpaws.org/thebark. That's one word. And there are some really awesome sponsorship opportunities where we can spotlight your business. You'll be, we will sing of your praises on our social media channels and on the podcast, and in any way. I'm a graphic designer. I will find a way to make sure you're heard. So
I'm excited.
Me too. So is Jelly Bean here.
Yes.
I swear there's a dog named Jelly Bean right here.
There's a dog named Jelly Bean.
In a diaper.
So I was gonna introduce our guest first.
Yes.
But I think I'm gonna explain why Jelly Bean is in a diaper first.
Oh, Candy, this is your forte. You go for it.
Okay, so Jelly Bean was deserted about a month ago. From what I understand from her finders, they live in a spot where there's dogs commonly dropped off. The sad part is that Jelly Bean is only 6 months old. Like, could you imagine dropping this little baby off in the middle of a neighborhood and driving away from it? Not only that, less than a month later, she's in heat. So this is an example of what rescue does. This is an example of why we're all here. Because had her finders not advocated for her, found her a rescue, she would be on the street right now. And as we discussed on a previous episode, male dogs can smell a female in heat from up to 3 miles away. So this is an avoided pregnancy. The part of the problem with the dog.
She's in heat, guys.
No, that is not part of the heat. That is
that's what she thinks.
What do they call it? a backwards hiccup or something like that. Anywho. The part of the dog overpopulation is that pit bulls and pit bull mixes tend to have larger litters. So this is avoiding not only a litter, but a lot. Like, she probably would have had anywhere from 6 to 10 puppies. So if you see a dog that's been abandoned, I mean, she's pretty big for a puppy.
Yeah, she is.
And you would think she's an adult. It doesn't matter. If you see dogs any age, advocate for them. Bring them into your backyard if you can. into your apartment, whatever you can do for them. Find them a rescue, foster them if you can. But this is a great example of what we're doing, and we're trying to do it because we want less dogs out on the street that are potential for pregnancy, and even more dogs added to this dog overpopulation situation.
She's like a great example of our big picture approach, though.
Yes.
Because people, we believe that not everyone really likes the idea of abandoning their dog, but we've seen it firsthand in Tennessee where like their shelters and rescues are full. They really are in a situation where they don't know what to do, and they drop the dog in the middle of a field thinking it's safe, but
it's not.
There's so this is like, she is, oh, sorry, Jelly Bean, I'm gonna use you as an example, but she's literally like our mascot for like the animal overpopulation and why we're doing what we're doing.
Spay neuter, yeah,
absolutely.
Spay neuter advocacy. This is a great example, and you would think that the dogs that get dropped off in either out in the country or in a neighborhood are like old, scroungy, so on and so forth. That's not the case. This is a puppy. She's gorgeous. If you're not watching, this dog has this speckled coat, which is why we call her Jelly Bean, because she looks like a jelly belly jelly bean. Yeah. And her face has 4 quadrants. The upper right is a dark spot. The upper left is light. The lower left is dark. And then the lower right is light. And she's just, she looks like she has a quilted pattern on her face. She's just absolutely gorgeous. I don't understand how you can look at this dog, a puppy, and just drop it off somewhere, wish it luck.
Well,
I know.
If you're in a situation bad enough and you feel like you don't have another option, that is your best that's your most viable option. Yes. So that's part of our approach also, is just that we don't shame people. We don't condone it, but of course not. But we see how these things happen.
Yeah.
And we want everyone to understand the path and the consequences of doing something like that.
Yes.
All
right,
now
from mascot to mascot, and Jelly Bean is a great example of local situations. With us today is the Animal Alliance, and you have a broad story and a mascot from kind of far away.
We do.
Yeah.
So this beautiful dog here, her name is Fiorella. She is a rescue from the coast of El Salvador.
Okay.
She was homeless for, we believe, roughly a year before we found her, rehabilitated her, and adopted her.
Got it.
Did she have one eye when you found her?
So she had a large tumor on her eye. So she wasn't able to see. Just she had this large mass, and just as a neglected dog, no one kind of paid attention, took her in. So we were very fortunate. One of our partners in El Salvador found her, got her
help.
Got her help. We kind of finished the process, closed up her eye, and she I guess never knew life with 2 eyes, so she's just a
she's happy-go-lucky
lucky dog.
So if you can introduce yourselves, Thomas and Brooke, and just tell us a little bit about yourselves and why we're here, maybe. So
certainly.
Okay. Well, I can go
She's like, now?
Okay. Well, my name is Brooke Moreland. I'm a research scientist. I'm located in Indianapolis, Indiana. And so I work as the Chief Development Officer here at the Animal Alliance with Thomas. So
that is so impressive sounding. I felt like it was worthy of me interrupting to say that. Okay. That's all. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And my name is Thomas, president and founder of the Animal Alliance. Came from a small business real estate investment world, and just felt something had to be done to get people to care more about animals, simply, and to get people to connect and network.
So Thomas, I would love, if you don't mind, I would love to hear more about your background and what inspired you to kind of bring your experiences to America as well, because I'm sure Candy and a lot of other people in my life are really sick of me talking about my trips to Nicaragua.
I'm not sick of that.
And talking about, it was eye-opening for me, and just to see the homeless animal population. But there are some folks that we met that they cared so deeply for their animals. And so I would just love to hear more about your path, if that's all right, and kind of what brought you to starting the Animal Alliance to
Certainly.
begin with.
Kind of the foundational part of how this all came to be is born in New York, moved to the Carolinas when I was 5, so in the kind of late 90s. my family started taking rescue animals from the Tennessee state line. I grew up in Asheville, North Carolina. So since I was 5 years old, our house was filled with mama dogs and their puppies. So whether it was in the kitchen, the bathrooms, the living room, we always had animals in our space.
Wow.
And at the time, again, it was my parents and three siblings. We didn't understand the concept of why these animals were being brought into our house. We just thought they were a nuisance. We just thought, why are there so many animals? Why is our house so dirty? Why is it so loud?
But at a young age, your bells were going off. Oh, what's
Something's
wrong?
going on.
Something's off.
There's a reason, like our
Yeah.
parents can bring these animals into our space, and those animals specifically were given 3 days to be adopted, or they would have been euthanized.
Oh,
Three?
wow.
Did you say 3 days?
3 days.
Oh, wow.
So my mother was working as a night nurse. Her and a band of her friends kind of came together and thought they needed to do something about this. And it kind of all started then. It wasn't until I had some distance, went off to school, went into the business world, where I realized, the circle came back around to that is why they did this. We need to do something about this. Because again, I had a foundational knowledge of like that was so important, that those families that adopted those animals, we gave them a life, we gave them a new family member. That no animal should be put down simply because of a lack of resources
Right.
or a lack of care.
Right. And we
So
need to
that's-
manage that population, you know? So people think, oh, you know, they're wild animals. Why, you know, we shouldn't take away their rights to have offspring. It's like when you domesticate an animal, it is therefore then your responsibility to manage it holistically, manage the situation holistically, you know? So, yeah.
Well, and I love, like, I'm not going to lie. I was talking to Thomas a little earlier because I thought I'm not going to lie. I get backlash because people are like, you're a graphic designer. What do you know?
Yeah.
Well, you want to know what I know? I can observe patterns really
Yeah.
well.
No,
I'm a woman. I was born with that in my DNA. So Brooke gets it. No, but like I can step outside a situation and recognize like when something's happening. And I have a love, like Thomas, like I have a love for and a passion for animals, and I recognize
Right.
like something's awry here. So I actually think it's an amazing thing that you were able to, I don't know, that you don't come from a background of like animal welfare for like, not to, it's great
No,
if you
no,
do,
no, I don't,
but
no.
I mean, but you just have like a loving heart for them, and you recognized a need, and you did something about it.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
no, I just kind of what I'll tell people is if we've ever had any love for a dog, a cat, any kind of animal, that they should have a right to live in all capacities. And if we can just show that compassion to other people, people would care.
Yeah.
How does the global, I'm sorry, Candy, how does the global component happen? Because I know, like you said, I think you were, correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of what you're doing is inspired by your experiences from Latin America or in Latin America. So like I just want to know more about that journey, because you guys have not been along you haven't been along for very long. I'm not going to lie.
No,
But
pretty
it's
nice.
Already making big waves.
I'm secretly very envious.
Yeah.
Also stressed, but more envious. So
Yeah, how it came to be, simply when this concept was created, we had a certain amount of money, and we felt, okay, we can give that set amount of money to rescues that are in state of Maryland, somewhere in the United States, or we could give it abroad and just make 7 to 8 times the impact. And just
Yes.
from my mindset, if I can make more of an impact to animals, if the concept is just to help animals, I want to help more animals.
Right.
Yeah.
I have family in Nicaragua. That's where this organization was kind of started. And the animals in Nicaragua are just as important as the animals that are here.
And it takes a societal change, a mindset change. And it, you know, the more we can pass that message along and create a better awareness for these animals, no matter where you're at or where you're from or where you're going, that is so important. So that's wonderful that you're doing that. Yeah.
And so when you do things like that down in Nicaragua, for instance, like, are you seeing a shift in like cultural beliefs as far as like the value of a dog? Or because you know what I mean, you can go down there and spay and neuter like 100 animals on a weekend, but it's going to keep happening unless like that mindset shifts, right, as how they value an animal. So like, have you seen that transform at all in your time doing this?
We believe in the short amount of time we have been doing this, that we have seen a shift. When we have seen people in the community have outside help come in to supply resources to give care, that they believe that this is something to be proud about.
Yes.
And they have pride around it.
Yes.
So we do feel it's something that is making an impact in those communities. They just need to know people are willing to help. That's what we're trying to do.
I am crying on the inside. Tears of joy because it justifies every mission trip I've ever been on.
Yeah.
No, I think that's amazing. Yeah. So awesome. Well, and so you started this in 2023. Does that sound
So
about right?
we took our trip down in August of 23 to kind of launch the Animal Alliance in Nicaragua. And then fast forward, we're coming up on 2 years. And the initial foundation was simply to raise funds to send to Latin America to fund spay neuter services.
Wonderful.
To this point, we have molded and morphed into a very different organization with the foundation of we want to fund spay neuter services. We believe people value what is scarce. And this is where Brooke can kind of
take us away. Tell us about the programs, right?
Well,
Brooke,
and before, not that what you have to say is so important, I promise. But I want to, and maybe you'll answer this, Brooke, but I would love to learn more about the barriers because you can bring that to America all day long, but I know we've experienced some things where people just don't understand the importance of it, or there's not access to it, or that it's not affordable.
For certain mindsets as well.
I'm curious, about the barriers you may have experienced that may have maybe helped shape these programs this program you're about to talk about.
Tell us about the programs first, though. Let's get that.
I don't know.
Let's establish that.
Candy's the project manager here. I don't know.
Okay. Well, I would say that really the birth of the menu of programs that the Animal Alliance has really is a blend between obviously the story that Thomas shared with you about the origin of the Animal Alliance and then your life experiences, but also it connected with a little bit of my origin story. Animal welfare. It wasn't my initial interest. It wasn't until one of my children is very into animal welfare, but he likes bugs. He likes all animals.
Oh my God.
Did you say bugs?
He loves bugs.
Does he like cicadas? Can we talk about this?
He does. He gets them off the tree and he brings them inside. Actually, cicadas are very gentle bugs, but it wasn't until I saw his respect and his care. My love for just caring a little bit more about animals really grew from seeing him love animals so much. I remember sharing that with you, Thomas, when I met you, because you asked me, well, why are you interested in getting involved? But I'm just being honest with you, just being a parent, really building a relationship with my children and really getting to understand what they love and care about. And it really helped me as a parent, maybe not step on a bug I would have stepped on before, or, to be careful with a lizard or a dog, a cat. And so as a researcher, my history is involved in building programs. That's all that I really love to do. Just being a part of research, listening to leaders, understanding what they're looking for. So when I met Thomas, and he had such a wonderful view on this is really what I want to do, right? Beyond spay and neuter for animals, I really want the Animal Alliance to get more involved in the community, right? I want to build relationships, not just internationally, but domestically as well, to be an organization that is really an authority in animal welfare, where we are really celebrating wins together when we're learning something new. And so really that was the birth of the community engagement program, where it was really taking the wish list of Thomas and going through saying, how can this become a reality? And so now this community engagement program across the United States, our partners are our co-facilitators for a 6-week course. And so each week we talk about a different animal welfare topic, and that really builds the social capital of communities. But now we can authentically have relationships with other partners, and we could also meet our bottom line because we're rendering services and we're teaching material that's very important, not just to pet owners, but really everyone who shares the community. Because once you realize this topic, it's not just important for those who have animals, you are a part of a Exactly. So that's our community engagement program, that 6-week opportunity.
Let me ask you a side question. What is this child? What is their name?
His name is Sage.
Sage. So I want to give a
He's
shout out
10.
to Sage. 10-year-old
The cicada
Sage.
lover?
Yes.
Yeah.
For having such a big heart. That's
Yeah.
absolutely wonderful.
Well, I never thought about it the way you just said it. I feel like when we talk about going into schools and like creating curriculums and just educating kids, everyone's like, oh, well, you have to create a space where the parents are there too, because you need the parents to hear what they're saying, which there's value to that. But I never, like your story right there, it's just like, I don't know. What if we're inspiring kids enough to where they're taking this information home and the parents are inspired by that? Like, I think that is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Like, that's awesome.
I think that having children gives you a second chance at childhood. I've seen so many, like the kids bring home the homework and then the parents are like, oh, I kind of remember when I did this. And then you get into it again. And then you find another layer of this is where my child has a specialty.
I feel like I don't know the right parents in my life. They're all like,
that.
what is this garbage you're learning in school?
Oh,
son?"
my goodness. That's funny.
Have you seen the videos of the kids? Like there's an age, I don't know what age it is, like maybe 6 or 7, where the kids come home from school and they are just sobbing because it's finally clicked in their head that the little chicken that is in their cartoons is also the chicken that they see on a farm, is also the chicken that they eat. And then you see the child just sobbing, I don't want to eat.
Were they the creator
meat,
of PETA?
right? And
That's
then
how PETA
they're like,
started.
I don't want to eat meat, but I love bacon, you know? And yeah, I saw one of those videos the other day and I was just like, oh, poor baby. But there's, there's that as an adult, as a parent, you're like, well, maybe we eat less.
But it's like what you said, Brooke. And I think like that's something that we try so hard to focus on is educating everyone, because you are not exclusively affected by the animal crisis if you own a pet.
Right.
That's true.
Impacts everyone. We
Right.
talk about things from like insurance to taxpayers to, I mean, just they're like all walks of life. You're in some way being impacted by it. So
businesses, farmers, the food you eat. Yeah. It's all impacted. Yeah.
So I guess what were you going to say?
I was going to ask, how much of the program is targeted to domesticated pets versus wildlife? Is there a mixture of the two, or is it mostly pets?
Well, it really depends on our co-facilitator, because what's really cool is we have 12 partners across 10 states.
Okay.
And what makes it magical in Tennessee, our partner is Young and Williams Animal Center.
I'm aware
So
of
that
them,
is how we
yes.
And
met
that's
you.
Knoxville.
That's in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Yes. And so it really depends on our partners. We do have a script for the 6-week course. And so we are talking about topics like advocacy. What does that mean? What does a legacy mean, right? Do I have to be a part of a group to make a difference? Can I do this on my own? Different words like mutual aid. We talk about the leaders that help in the community. What are the challenges? And so even though we do have a curriculum that focuses on various ideas in animal welfare, it's very generalized. We invite the co-facilitators to bring their capital to the space. So if you do support cats and dogs exclusively, you can uplift your organization and talk about the challenges in Knoxville, right? Or if you do love birds or you do love horses. So I think that it's specific given the structure to make sure that we are covering general topics and themes that we really want people to leave with, so then they can match their care with their action.
Right.
Because really at the core of it is service learning, right? They're going to be in the 6-week course that's virtual. It's a mixed population of people. You could be a teacher, family, caregiver.
Right.
You could be a veterinarian. You could be in 11th or 12th grade, right? Those are emerging adults. And everyone is bringing, whether their lack of information or their wealth of information, in a really a discussion-based format. So the answer to that is it really is open. It depends on our co-facilitators. We want to honor the capital that they're bringing to the partnership.
Okay. So they can kind of tailor or amend
They
the
can ad-lib
program.
about who they are.
And what their focus is. That's wonderful. Okay, so I want to circle back because you did have a wonderful question. Now that we've learned about the program, What? Yeah.
What was my wonderful question?
What are we've heard about the programs. Now, what are the obstacles that you face? It's very important to hear. So
that was a good question. Thank you.
You know, a lot of the obstacles.
If I don't say so myself.
No, I mean, and kind of like the I guess the big beginning of how this program even came to be for how we started to interact with each other is I made a post to hire a fundraiser on LinkedIn.
Yes.
Can we back up for a really quick second? Because
you're interrupting your own question.
I'm so sorry. But listen, Thomas is like the grown-up version of me. Like legit. Like the way he's like, I went on LinkedIn and found all these people. And I'm like, what?
Thomas, she wants to be you when she grows up.
Yes, please. So we'll work on that.
Yeah.
We'll work on that. But I just wanted to give you kudos because everything you're about to say, I'm just like, oh, man.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Tell us.
Sorry.
The obstacles. Sorry.
No, it simply, I mean, we were about a year and a half into this organization and funding outside of a business, outside of family and friends. There wasn't a reliable way to get funding through the traditional method of fundraising for nonprofits, especially new ones, that we just had to simply do something different. I just felt if I put something into the universe to try to call in someone with different opinions, maybe that something would break free from that. Out of all of the applicants, Brooke and I just started speaking, and within minutes, it went beyond the initial position to, well, what about this? And then my brain started spinning, well, I think that's a great idea. What about this? And then we just bounced off of each other for that meeting, and then we had a second meeting, and then a third meeting, and then we thought, well, let's just create a program together.
Oh, wonderful.
So it was just a confluence of events to lead to, we have to break the traditional way of fundraising, especially for newly formed nonprofits, because it's so incredibly difficult.
Well, that's what we find. And I'm so glad you said that, because I think even in we're based out of Murray County where I live, and which is middle, kind of southern-ish middle Tennessee. And there are so many nonprofits that it's such a saturated market that it almost feels bad almost to go out to the community and ask for fundraising and ask, because everyone's just giving all they can, to the other nonprofits. So I think that's a really good point. You have to be creative.
And you're not just competing with animal nonprofits. You're competing with
exactly.
St. Jude. Nothing against St. Jude. They do wonderful things, but all these other groups, American Heart Association, the Girl Scouts, especially in January. My gosh.
Okay, you know what? Their cookies are inflated enough. I'm sorry. The boxes are smaller. They're more expensive.
I have to speak up. My daughter is a Girl Scout.
She is.
We love the cookies.
I have a lot of foot and mouth moments. Yet, but
no, it's fine.
I don't have a problem with the Girl Scouts, other than in January. That is my weak moment. I'm not a cookie person. I am not. But those Samoas,
and they work hard. They stand out there
in the cold.
Yeah,
you gotta support them.
You do. I get it.
Cookies.
That is so funny.
But no, you make a great. Both of you make a great.
I want to tell you something about the Girl Scouts.
All right, here we go.
Where's the tangent jar?
I didn't bring it because I forgot to stop for money. All right, go ahead. It's fine.
Okay. The Girl Scouts, my niece is a Girl Scout, and of course I got hit up to, spend some money.
Of course.
And there was a can of, I don't even know what snack I got, mixed nuts or something.
Wait, the Girl Scouts were selling mixed nuts?
Yes.
That feels off brand.
So it's through their order online program, because my niece doesn't.
You can order online.
It was the expanded. It wasn't at the store. It was the expanded hit up your relatives in other states program.
The real reason.
They're expanding. These young ladies are entrepreneurs. Watch your back, okay? So
that is so funny.
Little can of mixed nuts or something, but on the side of the can, they had a little project for the Girl Scouts to cut a hole in the top of the can, and save up any loose change, and they could donate it to their local shelter.
Wow.
Oh, that's sweet.
Oh, that was totally related.
Wow. Yes.
I love that.
Why did you think I was?
I had no idea where you were going with that, if I'm being honest.
So, and
that
so
awesome.
that's an example of, yes, there's a lot of nonprofits were saturated, but one gives to the other and so on and so forth. So that's, I loved that they did that. So, but, and like us, we're two nonprofits working together. And so that's also an amazing thing. Yes, we're saturated. We're figuring out new things. But
it's about pooling, at least for us, and Candy, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's about pooling resources. And I feel like I've personally experienced instances in doing this where I don't know if people feel threatened or they're like, oh, well, you're trying to do this and we're trying to do this. And how are people going to decide where to give? But I'm like, why aren't we working together? Like, it's supplemental. At least that's what my dream is. Right. So that's why I was so excited. Like, I joke about you being like the grown-up version of what we were, or what we are. But like, I mean that though, in like the
Very
highest
good.
form of flattery.
Yes.
Yeah. It's just, I think it's like our long-term goals are so what you're doing. And I think that's why when I learned that you guys had just started in 2023, I was like, is that a typo?
You've come so far. Well, and so I do a lot of rescue work, and I hear the rescue saying we're not going to rescue our way out of this. And so we need more programs like yours that approach from an educational program side to say, instead of just trying to find homes for dogs that are existing, let's stop the next dog from having a pregnancy. Let's stop the next dog. Let's educate, because I encounter a lot of people who are like, oh yeah, I sent my dog to the shelter. I didn't realize, I got this dog. I didn't realize I wasn't ready for a dog. Well, that's great. I'm glad you learned a lesson, but how is that dog impacted? And you sent it off without being spayed and neutered, and you this, and that, and the other, and they learn from it. But then we keep having the next generation learn the lesson again. And in the meantime, we're trying to rescue our way out of all these lessons learned, and we're not making it. So this
it's
is
definitely
where
a proactive approach.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about education, it really does align what we're talking about, just this mindset shift.
Yes.
And it's really honoring wherever you are. You can self-identify as you just love animals, right?
Right.
And that's just the beginning, right? That's just the catalyst to want to learn more. And so that is really the big hope, is to change mindsets so that spay neuter efforts, are improved. But then also we're able to meet partners, and it's not a competition, right? The model really allows for us to really get to know other partners. We get to educate the community together, right?
Yeah.
And then, we do seek grant funding to fund these cohorts.
Right.
So that is important to share that, when we have partnerships, we are looking for people who want to give, like foundations. And at the center of it is research, because we are really interested in the evolution of how people are thinking, which is self-efficacy. Can I see myself really giving to a big movement? Because, in today's challenging world, it is kind of hard to see.
And it's not
one
tangible.
person can make a difference.
That's kind of what we've experienced,
Right.
is that like on like a shelter where you're like, here's Spot. Here's what your donation will help Spot here.
Yeah.
Right.
Like what we're doing isn't tangible. It probably is impact over time.
I see what you're
So
saying.
it's really, it makes it challenging. And I'm wondering too, and we'll talk about how people, if they're interested in your program, how they can get involved. But I'm wondering, do you talk about breeding at all? Or is it more spay and neuter, which of course are related, but
the term overpopulation. So there are terms each week that we situate like our open discussions about. And so people come and we get to introduce the topics like overpopulation. What is a habitat? What is civic responsibility? These really big words. And then they are greeted with 2 to 3 prompts, and they're able to go into small groups and talk about, what do these words mean to me? What have you heard? This is what I've heard. And then they're able to come back and really talk about, well, what did you learn from each other? And so, yes, that is a term that we do hope to cover, not necessarily breeding, but overpopulation and just habitat challenges in general.
Chris, do you experience that? Because I know, remind me, like where are you based out of, if you had to say? Like where's the organization based out of?
Baltimore, Maryland.
Okay.
Domestic wise, it would be in Grenada.
Okay. Go ahead.
And there's 12 partners domestically, or 12 partnering states. Or you have
12 partners across 10 states. So we have like a couple, like we have 2 in Indiana.
Okay, got it.
A couple in South Carolina.
Yep.
San Francisco, Salt Lake
And
City.
then internationally, how many?
6 partners.
6 partners. Okay, and what are the other countries? Can you tell us that?
Nicaragua, El Salvador, and Mexico.
Okay. So you have several in each of those.
Yes.
Okay. And then is there opportunity, like you took, wasn't a vacation?
It's mission trip to Nicaragua. This is the thing, I swear, if I had $1 for every time I talk about this,
yes,
I could purchase my own mission
can
trip.
people are there opportunities for people through Animal Alliance at the moment to go down and make an impact, to travel and make an impact?
You talked about this.
So funny enough,
Okay.
we are in the works of creating a cultural experience program.
Wonderful.
To where people, that as we start to reintroduce ourselves to partners in the United States, that if people were to see the realities of animal welfare abroad, we do believe they would care more.
Yeah.
And once they saw the impact, the value of making that they would, whether it's financially give more of their time, efforts, whatever it may be. So we are developing 2 programs, one in El Salvador, one in Nicaragua. We have very strong partners in both places. So that is in the works. We're looking to partner with universities to start to send pre-vet students or any students who just care about animal welfare to these countries.
You can't see, but I'm raising my hand.
Oh, yes.
Listen, I speak a little Spanish.
There you go. There you go.
No, that's so awesome.
There's a lot of groups that do like a vacation tourism kind of thing. I know a young lady, a very sweet young lady that used to go, gosh, I'm trying to remember where she would go. Bali or something like that every year, and there was like a cat sanctuary. She would volunteer cleaning up whatever they needed done.
Like Baja, Mexico, I think has a big one. I think there's one in Costa Rica.
So these are great programs where you can go off, you can do something nice, and then maybe for the last few days of your trip, you tootle around and see the rest of the culture, or sit on the beach.
Well, I joke. I live in Columbia, Tennessee. Like I said, South Middle Tennessee. And I joke all the time. I'm like, oh, it's starting to look like Nicaragua down here. Just because like there are a lot of people, like there are just a lot of roaming animals. And what I learned about my experience in Nicaragua specifically was that like the people, like I was telling you, they really care so deeply. And when, like you were saying, the relationship building, when you are, it means so much to them when you are just caring for their animal. You don't even speak. There's no such thing as a language barrier down there. All they see is you loving on their animal. And I mean, like I'm Christian, so I would like pray with them and things like that. But it's just, that's all they see. They see the love, and then everything else is like obsolete, So is that kind of what you're hoping? I guess if people were to go down there and experience that, they'd want to bring that back to the States.
We feel it's just, at least the animal welfare issues abroad in Latin America are just so visible that we feel it's almost impossible for you not to have some kind of emotional reaction and want to take action in any capacity.
Right.
So again, if we can get groups of 10, 20, 30 students to go down, we'll catch at least a couple people who really want to dive in fully
and stick with it.
Yeah. And then so theoretically speaking, if they were to do, and I'm sorry, we'll talk about your other program, I promise. But if they were to go do something like that and then they come back to America, I mean, what are their calls to action?
The call to action and kind of how like these programs came to be is it's financial. We're trying to meet, again, even with the rescues abroad or any rescue I've never met one that is so fully funded that they have so much capital to give to others. So it comes down to they could do so much work themselves if they had the money. So again, it all comes down to money.
Right.
And again, just the US dollar to give to Latin American countries can just do so much more that when people, again, if you want to help animals, just help make more of an impact. It's a better value.
And it's like you just said, people who want to help animals. So here, okay, so you have this program, like, so are you this community program then that's open to kind of to everyone, this virtual program, are you trying to appeal to people who maybe don't have an invested interest in animals, or is that it's just like a pretty wide net? Like, what's your demographic for this?
Well, the demographic are people who self-select that they care about animals, just in general.
Okay.
Individuals who may not be interested, I think would be open to inviting, individuals to be a part of cohorts of the community engagement program. We've been in talks with a couple of organizations that are connected to like juvenile justice organizations or just other corrective opportunities for individuals who may have not made really great decisions when it comes to animal welfare. Could this be an option as well? Like I said, those are just preliminary ideas. But right now for this iteration, we're definitely focused on, just individuals self-selecting who really do have an interest in animal welfare. Yeah.
Okay. My mind is spinning. I'm trying to figure out how to spit out my thoughts. Yeah, because I guess I personally, I know I've been working on building relationships with, and you just kind of spoke to it a little bit, but with, for instance, organizations that train dogs for service members or veterans, because I think like what we believe is just you can't support a canine or you can't support a service member, past or present, without supporting a canine. And I do think like there's some of that demographic maybe, and I'm not trying to stereotype, but I think there's a large pool of people maybe who just are maybe undereducated about the value of a dog, but support our military really well.
Okay.
Right. And so if you're understanding, like, you love freedom, you love America, you love this veteran who lived next door to you, like,
here's one way to engage and support.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's kind of why I was asking you about that wide net. But yeah,
I like your thinking.
Yeah,
the creative path to get to this is beautiful.
I maybe have adult ADD. I don't know.
I think it just goes to say that we, to your point, we undervalue the value of pets, and they can be so integrated in they're not just couch potatoes. There are working breeds. And then there are those that we give human jobs, like our military dogs, our law enforcement dogs, our search and rescue dogs.
Yep.
And I think we forget how capable they are. And that's not just purebreds or whatnot. You can get a pound puppy and teach it a lot of things.
Pound puppy.
Oh
my Lord. Did you ever watch that show when you were younger? Pound Puppies? Oh, I'm just rethinking my entire childhood in the last like 5 seconds. Okay, sorry.
But that, right. yeah. There's a lot, and I think that we take it for granted sometimes.
Yeah.
So,
but those folks, like, and that's kind of why I was asking you about that. I feel like they could be a good gateway into like a greater net of people who may not just not understand the value of it. Yeah. Right. So, sorry, was that like intrusive? I wasn't trying to.
Absolutely not.
Okay. That's why I was just asking.
And I think so. Maybe now is a good time to hear about the other programs that you have.
Yes, sure. So our other program, the Bridge program, really has more involvement with the international partners that Thomas is recruiting and securing. It is a 12-week virtual opportunity where an international rescue organization is paired with an organization domestically in the United States. It is reciprocal mentorship because we do not want, either organization to feel that one culture seems to be superior to the other. It really is knowledge sharing and relationship building to really reciprocally, I keep using that word. I guess that's the word for today.
It's a good word.
But just working together to learn something new, right? Because one organization may do something really well, another could do something really well, and we really want them to share that. And so at the core of the Bridge program, we get to learn just how organizations are working together and knowledge sharing. But when you complete the program, the international organizations are then added to our menu of donation options. So it's the community engagement program and the Bridge program, they are separate, but the bridge between them is when we have in the community engagement program, when we have a co-facilitator. Remember, even though we're teaching this class, the services that we're rendering, the money that we're earning goes back to spay and neuter, because that's the bottom line. We're giving that option to our co-facilitators.
Okay.
So they get to choose from a menu of organizations that they're interested in. And so that's where the Bridge program comes in. When you complete the mentorship program over here, you can become a part of this catalog for our partners in the community engagement program to select from. Okay. So it really does limit bias, right? We're not just out here, picking people, we want to pick this person every time. It really becomes this equal opportunity to be selected, and it really puts the impact in the hands of our co-facilitators in the community engagement program. So those are two different programs that run in parallel. One is mentorship that really, supports the international organizations that you're working so hard to secure. But then our community engagement program is really a sincere effort to build relationships with organizations domestically. So
that's wonderful because, we're talking about, just people changing the mind shift of society. But these groups, like the rural shelters here, they don't have the capability, they don't get the training, they don't get the this and that and the other, but it would be great for them. And I know a rural shelter that I try to help. they don't have the time to take off and come observe a city shelter. And even if they observe it, are they going to have those resources versus if they collaborate with a shelter in another country that's also rural, but they've each figured something out in a different way. That is wonderful. It's more apples to apples for them. So that's an absolutely wonderful program to build each other up, if you will. So I like that.
I mean, what kind of barriers are you like in Maryland, for instance? Like, what are the biggest obstacles that you have up there with something like this?
The biggest barriers is, why would people care about issues abroad when there's enough issues in their own community? And again, completely valid, completely understandable, like issue.
Are the shelters in Maryland full?
Oh, very much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just, again, there's so much happening just in those communities. And again, we found a lot of the southern rescues, again, they have a much more of an overpopulation problem, that they're just not at like in the mind space to think about global efforts, even though we do live in a very global society, when they have too many things happening here domestically.
So I want to ask you maybe a controversial question.
Oh, please
Go for it.
Do you have an opinion about like the no-kill movement, so to speak, or Candy's gonna kill me for asking you that.
No.
You don't even have to answer if you don't want to. We don't. No, we recently did an episode about it and just kind of like peel back the layers. And I mean, truthfully, I'll be transparent. Like, I don't think we have a like we don't have a definitive answer, but we think it was a good idea that maybe needs better regulation. I mean, that's just our opinion, but I didn't know because you've mentioned earlier in this conversation, like, we believe that like no animal should have to be put down because of a lack of resources, but truthfully that is a problem here. And I know that like the no-kill stuff has, I mean, people have blended those two things. So I was just wondering if you had an opinion.
I guess we don't have like a formal stance kind of as we're like molding. I guess getting a very concrete, definitive answer is something that I don't know our organization is ready to kind of announce. We just very strongly believe resources should be allocated to make the most impact.
Right.
However people absorb that answer, that's
but that's fair. That's kind of what that's kind of what we decided. It's like when all things are operating at maximum capacity, like then it's okay to have expectations of X, Y, and Z, but like we're just not there.
Yeah, and not everybody has the resources to make no-kill an option.
Correct.
Right. Or a true option.
So we would not pass judgment on people have to make decisions that make sense for them.
Yeah, of course. No,
I love that.
Sorry.
Yeah. I love working in rescue. There's some rescues that are very supportive of each other. They build a very positive community, but behind the scenes, I will say there are some rescues that are like criticize each other. Oh, very much so. If I was into, you see it too? Yeah.
I wish everyone could see the face you was making.
But it's abroad. It's everywhere.
Even abroad. I didn't even think about that. You see like things being said and certain people posting things even socially that I'm like, oh, and if I were into novellas and soap operas and everything, it'd be great. But I tend to feel a little bit more like, oh, why are we being so mean to each other? You know, but it's sad because in my opinion, just from my experience, other rescues might do things like rescues. I partner with rescues that I really find myself in alignment with. But if I see another rescue doing something, like I wouldn't do it that way, but we're all trying. We're just all trying, you know? So I hesitate to say, I'm not going to be the one to say you're bad for doing it not my way. You know, that's how companies operate too. There's different companies and they do different things. Hello,
Jelly
ma'am. Hi. Jelly. Oh yeah, sorry, not everybody's watching. I forgot about that. I mean,
Jelly Bean with the diaper.
If you are not watching this show, you have got to see.
Wait, Candy, can we just take like a 15-second PSA?
Yeah.
Why is she wearing a diaper? Because how can dogs breed?
How can dogs
breed?
not
how. We don't need to know how.
When a mommy dog loves a daddy dog.
But through fences,
would you like to? Oh my gosh.
And in Tennessee, it's a law to have your female BITCH. Literally, that's what they call it. Like in the law, a female bitch confined.
Confined. But yes, the male. So male dogs. I said it earlier in the show that male dogs can smell a female from up to 3 miles away, but they will also break through barriers. I mean, they will hop fences. They will mate through fences. And during this timing in her cycle. The female is also open and, if you will, flirtatious to the idea of breeding as well. Yeah, she what would you say earlier? She'd be a hoochie outside.
Oh,
right
she'd
now.
be a hoochie.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
dogs will break doors, you know, they will climb fences, work their parts through fences, all sorts of things. So she's in a diaper because the dog body works similar to the human body in that, you know, they have their cycle. So we put her in a diaper to keep things clean and everything. And we just keep her all good. But otherwise, I mean, she's acting normally. She's playful with other dogs. She's not having any negative behaviors. But yeah, the diaper's just to keep her clean and also adorable, I think.
It is adorable, kind of weird, but adorable.
Yeah.
More adorable than weird, I guess.
Yeah,
okay, so like what's the 5-year plan for the Animal Alliance? Like what's your
Ooh. Sounds like a Thomas question.
Did you wait, maybe you didn't have that meeting yet. So
should we reduce it? We can reduce it. No. I just would love to know.
Well,
like,
no, it's really interesting because really the first year goal we've already met. So I know that when we met in April, I had made a dedication to say, hey, I know that we want to build relationships across the United States. My goal was 10 states. So I was thinking, we'll get 10 states in a year.
Yeah. Yes.
And then we got 10 states in the first 3 months.
Yes.
Okay, again, like, can we talk about the drugs you're taking to do this? No, I'm just joking. But
I'm
like,
just getting messages from Thomas
good
like, oh my
Lord
goodness. Like,
heaven.
So is everybody that you're contacting like, oh my gosh, we would love to? Or is it,
no.
how does it work?
It's a numbers
No,
game.
I mean, it's
That
literally
makes me feel better.
persistence. And
Yes.
so just setting initial meetings with really interdisciplinary people. It could be people in their profile that says they care about animal welfare, veterinarians, people that work at hospitals, into various animal types. I have a friend that's a veterinarian. So I would just have an initial meeting with them and just telling them about the animal life. This is so cute. Just telling them about the organization and just getting right into it. Like, this is a concept. This is a transformative, community-centered effort.
Right.
It is a different way of fundraising. Would you like to be a part of this journey as we're still able to participate in spay and neuter services?
Right.
But this is a way to uplift community as well. And so, I mean, a lot of people say no, which is fine.
Sure.
You know, there are
keep
millions of other people on Earth.
Yeah.
And we are excited. I say, well, let's keep in contact with each other.
Yeah.
But for those who we've met and they're like, yes, I can see this. I think I can do this.
Yeah.
They're super excited to co-facilitate topics that they really care about, that we care about. And this is an opportunity to meet new people. So like, the people in the cohort, they might be the people that get their newsletter. They might be the new people who support their local campaigns. It's really exciting. So,
and I would say that people, whether they engage or they don't, it's not necessarily a reflection of the Animal Alliance. Sometimes you have the people that you're trying to connect with. There are some groups that are more proactive or open-minded, creative, have space and have budget
and time
for new programs versus others that just don't. So we're all giggling.
That's true. Some people are busy, but then we have been met with some people. They're like, hey,
I'm gonna make the
don't
time
see
for it.
this, and best of luck. And we're like, motivated.
Well, what's been the people that have kind of self-selected themselves to not be part of this have been very entrenched in the animal welfare community. They don't see this is not the traditional way of doing things. This does not make sense. People that have been more willing to have come from a different perspective to say, oh, this is new, this is fresh.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's at least explore, have a conversation.
I think part of that is because if like Young Williams is a shelter, right? And that's wonderful that they're engaging, because some shelters are so closely run by their city that those shelters sometimes cannot be as open-minded, because they're like, well, if it's not something that my city is leadership is not giving me from top down, I'm probably not allowed to do it.
And
so
they have a humane club or something. I feel like that shelter has some sort of humane education associated with it.
They do. They have. We just went to visit them yesterday, and the amount of programs they have for the city of Knoxville is pretty unbelievable.
Really?
They're kind of the catch-all for most animal welfare programs and that
I've
whole
heard
kind
they
of
So have
great
you
work.
guys been to Memphis?
I visited Memphis.
Visited.
Yes.
Okay. Because have you heard about some of the things they're experiencing as a community
I
as
have
it relates
not.
to animal
No,
welfare?
I have not.
Okay.
It's
It's sad.
insane. Yeah.
It's sad and liable, and there's just like the stray and roaming dog population is like
out of hand. It's
out of hand where it's attacking.
Really?
Yeah.
Dogs are attacking.
They
like,
estimate. I
city
think
members.
I saw
Yeah.
I saw an article where I think they estimate like 20,000 strays, and yes, it's
That's a lot.
Yes, and
Yep.
they also what Megan is bringing up is that recently there was a man who was killed because he was trying to defend his wife. There were 2 stray dogs. He was trying to defend his wife. His wife was able to get away, but then he was killed.
Yeah. And that's not the first. I mean,
Yeah,
there's
it's not the first one.
a boy attacked on the way to his bus stop. And the thing is, too, it's not necessarily all stray animals. It's people who just maybe don't have their dogs confined, or like there are a lot of layers to it. But that's why I was just wondering if that was on your radar at all.
Yeah.
We would love to partner with organizations in Memphis. So
Yeah.
if you're out there.
Right.
So
Like,
how-
wink, wink.
So beyond the donating and fundraising and so forth, how do people can you tell us your website and tell us how people can engage? Let's do that.
Yeah, the website is theanimalalliance.org.
Easy.
They can log on. We're going through a website transformation at the moment. The one we have is still working.
It still looks pretty good to me.
Yeah. Thank you.
For what it's worth.
So they can send us a quick message or email us at info@theanimalalliance.org, Thomas at Brooke at theanimalalliance.org. We'd love to get in touch. Just connect with people that are interested in any capacity around animal welfare from a global perspective.
Right.
And what about the program that Brooke was talking about? You said, I think you're enrolling now. You're enrolling now for January. Is that right? Or
Well, yeah, you're talking about the community engagement program.
Yes.
Yes. So our partnership outreach has really ended for this year because we have successfully secured the 12 partners
Wonderful.
across the 10 states.
And just so I understand, what makes you a partner? Like, what are the requirements? Or
Well, obviously wanting to co-facilitate. We have like a co-facilitator packet that gives them information about, so when you are a co-facilitator, you agree to lead the 6-week course.
Okay.
Because it is service learning. They also agree to lead 3 in-person programs because people are learning in the class and then they have to go do what they just learned. So once they agree to that, that's fine. They're compensated as contractors. It's really as simple as that. And interest and people sometimes, ask their organization, can I do this? They get permissions. And then once they're interested, we start talking about when would your cohort start? So a lot of our cohorts start in January because we are grant funded. So once we secure a partnership, that's our green light to start looking for funding for a cohort. It costs about $50,000 per cohort. It is a year of participation for those who are part of the course because they are engaged in surveys because we're interested in understanding their mindset shift when it comes to animal welfare. So once we get someone to sign a letter of partnership, we find funding, and once that funding is secured, then we really do have the green light to start the actual
And
class.
so you have, like you just said, you've met all the you have all the partners you need.
Yes, we have
for
all the
this particular
partners.
program.
We are just in the part where we are now finding funding, foundations, individuals who would like to support us in leading these efforts across the country.
And remind us who, if you're listening, who would that group of people ideally be? Like,
oh my goodness. Ideally, they could be individuals who really see and understand the importance of education and this proactive approach when it comes to animal welfare and really helping the crises that we see across the country. It could be a foundation, whether you are public or private. If your strategic goals align with things like advocacy, education, civic engagement. A lot of people think civic engagement is just voting, or if something happens that they don't like, then they want to participate. Civic engagement is being a part of your community every single day. So if you value that, we would love a foundation to reach out to info at the Animal Alliance for our help, to support our efforts. Individuals and organizations. Really the return on investment is learning more about how communities work together, this self-efficacy piece. because with education and being proactive, really that's not the whole answer, but it really is a positive contribution to lessening the issues that we're seeing today.
Are you guys familiar with the Truth campaign, the anti-tobacco Truth campaign?
It's from years ago. Yeah.
That's right.
It's what, so just because it's very similar to what you're describing. And honestly, Candy had pointed it out because our strategy was, I want to say inadvertently felt very aligned to them. But in the early 2000s, the anti-tobacco, I don't remember, the American Association of blah, 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 blah. That's the formal name. They created the Truth campaign, which is to reduce the numbers of youth smokers. Okay. But it was a multifaceted approach where everything is rooted in education. And then you start with educating, and then you're shifting the mindsets and all of these, it's peer-to-peer education. Okay. And then before you know it, the environment is reacting to that. So we don't have smoking sections in restaurants anymore. Right, yeah. Tobacco is very hard to access. It's expensive. Yeah. So it's but you're you were saying, the value of it it's rooted in education, and then everything else will kind of organically follow. And so what you're describing that's kind of what had inspired us, but it sounds like a lot of what you're doing too. And for us, it's been very helpful to compare those two, because it helps people who do know that campaign. They're like, oh, I get it. Okay.
It's your education. It's changed your education. So instead of going after big tobacco, for example, and going to court and all this and that, it's pretty much an economical approach in which it's if you teach somebody the knowledge that they need to know not to smoke, then they don't put their dollars toward that, and then that's a different outlet. It's a different approach to the situation. So same here. If you don't put your dollars toward backyard bred dogs, or irresponsibly bred dogs, or dogs that are just, why would you purchase a dog that you can find in abundance in a shelter? So so it's just that education mindset of, if we educate people about spay and neuter, for example, we can avoid all these litters that nobody's prepared to handle. So
And so this is free of, so the community engagement program?
The Animal Alliance Community Engagement Program, and then the international focused one is the Bridge Program.
Okay. Is the community engagement one free of charge if someone were interested?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Okay.
Nice. People who would like to enroll in a cohort that's a part of your city.
Okay.
There's no cost.
So really quickly then, what cities are you...
Okay, well, Knoxville, Tennessee, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Phoenix, Arizona, Indianapolis, Indiana, Canby, Indiana, Aiken, South Carolina, Greenville, South Carolina, Beaufort, Georgia, San Francisco, California, Salt Lake City, Utah, Elgin, Illinois, which is Chicago. Baltimore, Maryland. Yes.
You are all over the map. That's awesome.
Anywhere in
I hope
the
that was
Northeast?
12.
I don't think I heard
No.
anywhere in the Northeast.
Not yet.
But I did hit up Vermont and Maine. I did.
There are a bunch of,
So I'll keep emailing
New
people.
Hampshire. I moved from New Hampshire. And apparently our animal laws were not great up there. So, hit up New Hampshire. Or let me know. I'm going up there in a couple weeks. I'll
there you
deliver
go.
some.
There you go.
I mean, I guess I have an organization I can tout too, but I'll
Very true.
Listen, I'll help you guys.
But if you would like to host our New Hampshire cohort, let us know.
Yeah, listen, New England is just like one giant state. So if you could get one, you got it all.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So awesome. Well, this has been amazing. For one, the more I learned about you guys, I, again, just wanted to be you when I grew up. So thank you for everything you're doing. And it's really inspirational. I think it's awesome.
Thank you so much.
Well, it was so wonderful to meet you all, and just the hospitality and meeting you via email, and then seeing you in person is really awesome.
I know.
Absolutely.
I agree. And you brought a dog. I mean, you can't
beat that.
Can't beat that. If you brought a cat, we're like,
that would have been interesting.
Everyone, just kidding.
Oh my goodness.
But also, and where are you next? You're on a tour.
So
I am going back to Indianapolis. I don't know.
Yes, our team will be traveling across the country, ending in Los Angeles, trying to just kind of spread our mission, what we're doing, inform people on our programs. Again, we are seeking people to partner with us to help fund this movement.
Do you see some area? I'm sorry, I'm really bad at ending conversations. Are you? Do you see some areas are in greater need of this than others? Like
I would say yes. It's just the way the format is currently is and it includes self-selection. So we have an initial meeting. We just let people know this is the opportunity.
Yeah.
And like I tell people, I said, I'm not a firefighter. We're not doing heart surgery. Like if you see, we don't need it like a 24-hour response of a yes or no. But if you can really catch the vision and see yourself doing this, then please let us know. So that is really the vibe that we're putting out there. So yes, there are communities that we feel need it more than others, but people are truly self-selecting to be a co-facilitator. Yeah.
Well, and you want at that point, then they're intentional about it, right?
Yeah. Like they're choosing, like, I want to do this. Like, okay, great.
Yeah.
No. It's a much better
amazing.
fit.
I can't wait to learn more about your global program. I'm going to go down to Nicaragua with you. It's going to be great. I'm already planning it in my head. Suitcases packed. That's fun. But all right. Well, I mean, thank you guys again for being here.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Did you
have
have
me all this way?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to like shoo you off. I hope you if you had questions, you would have interrupted.
Anything else you want to share before we wrap up? Any messaging that we want to get out here?
Yeah,
that we did. If we didn't cover anything, basically,
support the Animal Alliance.
Yeah,
info at theanimalalliance.org.
I mean, we'll support the Animal Alliance. Awesome. Well, I hope everyone who is listening enjoyed this. We're so excited to have our second guest.
Yes.
Yay. And again, because you haven't heard us beg you enough for money. So we are listener supported, and go to lostsavingpaws.org/thebark. That's one word. You can catch our episodes and just kind of keep our mics on so we can facilitate more conversations like this.
And spreading the word about more great nonprofits
like
yours.
100%.
Yep. Certainly.
Yep. All right. Thanks, guys. Until next time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.